Welcome everyone. We have got an exciting show for you tonight. I'm Megan Fairchild and this is The Conversation. In tonight's program we meet two very exciting guests, the Honorable LYUDOVIK DOROGOY, Russian Ambassador to the United States, and the Honorable Josh HOLMES, Assistant Undersecretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Megan.
I am deeply honored to be here, Ms. Fairchild. As a diplomat, I must speak diplomatically and bend the truth. But for you, I will step away from my profession and speak honestly because I am so struck by your charm and loveliness that I cannot mince the words.
Please call me Megan.
Miss Megan, your wish is my command. Are you familiar with the great Russian literature and our national poet Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin?
Yes, I once took a class of Russian literature in college, ages ago.
Judging by your exquisite beauty and youthful vigor, I doubt that you finished the university more than 5 years ago, no?
Well, Mr. Ambassador, you are indeed a flatterer. Let's get down to business. Tension is rising again between the East and the West. Some say we've entered a new Cold War. But do these two world leaders look like they're freezing? Secretary Holmes, in your opinion, is there a way for these two leaders to come together?
Of course there is. If Putin first takes a long, hot shower and gets out of Ukraine, because as you know, Russian body odor is an olfactory weapon of mass destruction. With the help of our Western allies, we are now Febrezing the Russian stink in the sovereign state of Ukraine.
Deodorant is an imperialist conspiracy. The Russian bear may not smell like your rose garden, but women cannot resist the primal perfume of a real man's sweat, such as our president, Vladimir Vladimirovich.
Well, I must say that Mr. Putin does have a certain je ne sais quoi. Why do you suppose Putin remains so popular despite his controversial policy decisions and the worsening economic situation in Russia?
It's complicated, Miss Megan. Men want to be him and women want to be with him. What's the expression?
Sex appeal?
Yes, the sex appeal. As you know, in Soviet Union there was no sex. But now, in modern Russia, Putin has reinvigorated our phallic arsenal, and women of the world are going ballistic.
You may have new balls to play with, but can your president score from the three-point line?
If you by points are referring to Obama's approval ratings in his own motherland, then perhaps you are correct.
Well, we are currently in Obama's motherland, the home of the greatest democracy in the world. I suggest letting the studio audience choose which president is sexier, Mr. Putin or Mr. Obama.
To my mind, Mr. Obama's sexiness did not help his party very much in recent midterm elections, no?
President Obama's party may have lost in the midterm elections, but this defeat is a testament to the fairness of the American democratic system, which is truly the greatest democracy on the planet. In America, we have real elections that express the political voice of our citizens, unlike those phony elections you fixed in Crimea.
The people of Crimea overwhelmingly voted to rejoin their motherland. The Crimean referendum was an example of Jeffersonian democracy in the most purest state. We would like to recall the successes the USA has had in spreading democracy across the world, in such places like Libya, Afghanistan, Iraq. Yes, Uncle Sam, yes, thank you very much. Thank you for your arrogance, your hypocrisy, your neoliberal fascism. You truly are an exceptional country.
You dirty dog.
Be careful. Just like our president, all Russian men are well trained in the Oriental martial arts of judo.
Wait. I hear we have a breaking news. Well, we are back and we hope that we can find a topic a little less controversial to talk about. Perhaps establishing some common ground between our two distinguished guests. Under Secretary Holmes, the Islamic State has occupied a vast amount of territory in Iraq and Syria and declared a caliphate. How do you think the US and Russia can cooperate to solve this problem?
Great question, Megan. Yes, ISIS is indeed a sore spot for us, as well as the rest of the world. And it is a contemporary problem on which the US and Russia can and should cooperate. Namely, Russia should stop protecting the Syrian dictator Assad and allow us to engage in regime change in Damascus. Only after we topple the Assad regime and bring democracy to Syria will we be able to defeat ISIS.
Yes, Washington's grand geopolitical strategy, regime change perpetrated through these color revolutions and Arab Springs. The next logical step after your successes in Baghdad, Kabul, Kiev, must be Damascus. And then what's next? Tehran? And then Moscow? Well, let me ask you a question, Mr. Undersecretary. Why does the US always install ultra-right-wing puppet governments after they regime change a nation that does not lick your imperialistic boots?
Why don't you two just agree to disagree? Think of all the good things that you could do if your two countries worked together for humanity instead of fussing and feuding between yourselves. The US and Russia could explore the cosmos together, feed all the starving peoples of the world, cure infectious diseases, prevent climate change. After all, you cannot spell Russia without the US and A.
Megan, I appreciate your idealism, but you are very naive. The US needs an enemy so that we can continue our campaign of perpetual war to support our empire and feed our military-industrial complex.
And Russia needs an enemy for the same reason. The US has been our enemy for more than a century. After all, if something is not broke, why fix it?
But your respective nations could do so much together to benefit humanity instead of filling your coffers by spreading chaos and war across the earth. Why don't Washington and Moscow stop thinking only about themselves and be the solution?
Megan, I believe this interview has gone on for too long, and the best solution now is just to pull the plug.
For once, I agree with my American counterpart.